Hey everyone, welcome to today's discussion. We're diving into a pretty big question: when will the world end? Sounds dramatic, right? But this article actually breaks it down into the scientifically inevitable and the stuff that's, well, a bit more uncertain. Ready to explore the possibilities?
Absolutely. It's a question that's fascinated people for ages, and it's interesting to see how science tries to answer it. We can look at things that are pretty much guaranteed to happen eventually, like the sun dying, and then things that are more like if scenarios, like a giant asteroid hitting us.
Okay, let's start with the inevitable. What's the biggest, most certain end of the world scenario according to science?
The sun, our star, is the key player here. In about 5 billion years, it's going to run out of fuel and start expanding into a red giant. That means it'll get huge, and it'll probably swallow up Mercury and Venus. Earth's fate is a bit up for debate, but it's likely to be either swallowed or just completely fried.
Wow, 5 billion years. That's a long time. But even before that, there are other sun-related problems, right?
Exactly. Long before the sun becomes a red giant, it'll gradually get brighter. In about 1 billion years, it'll be 10% brighter than it is now. That might not sound like much, but it'll drastically change Earth's climate. We're talking oceans evaporating and a runaway greenhouse effect. Basically, Earth becoming way too hot for life as we know it.
So even without the sun swallowing us, we're toast in 1 billion years? That's a bit depressing. What about other cosmic events? Are there any other imitable ones?
There's the eventual collision of our Milky Way galaxy with the Andromeda galaxy. That's predicted to happen in about 4.5 billion years. It'll be a spectacular light show, but it probably won't destroy our solar system directly. It'll just be a really big change to our cosmic neighborhood.
Okay, so those are the long-term, pretty much guaranteed things, but what about the stuff that could happen sooner, the uncertain stuff?
That's where things get interesting and a bit more scary. We're talking about things like asteroid impacts. A really big one could cause a mass extinction event. It's not super likely, but it's definitely possible.
And what about supervolcanoes? I've heard about those.
Yeah, supervolcanoes are another potential disaster. They could erupt with incredible force, sending tons of ash and gas into the atmosphere, blocking sunlight, and causing a global cooling effect. It would be pretty devastating.
And then there's climate change, which is happening right now.
Climate change is a huge one, and it's entirely human-caused. If we don't get a handle on it, it could lead to all sorts of problems: extreme weather, rising sea levels, resource scarcity, and ecosystem collapse. It might not end the world completely, but it could make it very difficult or even impossible for humans to live comfortably.
So climate change is a big deal. What about other human-caused threats?
Nuclear war is a big one. A large-scale nuclear conflict could lead to a nuclear winter, blocking sunlight and causing widespread famine. Then there are pandemics. History shows us how devastating those can be. A really bad one could wipe out a huge portion of the human population.
And what about artificial intelligence? I've heard some scary things about that.
AI is a bit more speculative, but some experts worry about the potential for uncontrolled superintelligence or misaligned AI goals. It's a long shot, but it's something to think about.
So it sounds like there are a lot of ways the world could end, some sooner than others. Is it even possible to predict exactly when or how it will happen?
No, not really. The timelines for these events are incredibly long and uncertain. Even with all our scientific advancements, it's just too complex to predict with any accuracy.
So what should we focus on instead of worrying about the distant, uncertain future?
We should focus on the present and the things we can control. Understanding the threats we face, especially the ones we can influence, like climate change and nuclear proliferation, is key to building a sustainable future.
That makes sense. So to sum it all up, the world will end eventually, but the timeline is incredibly long and uncertain. We have a lot of shorter-term threats to worry about too.
Exactly. The real question isn't when the world will end, but what we do with the time we have.
Great points. Thanks for this fascinating discussion. It's given us a lot to think about.